good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another episode of this Wednesday. It's not going to be women's basketball, but it is What If Wednesday. We're going to tap into a little bit of the basketball as well. And I'm here with my main man, all the way from South Bend, bending air, post game of post game sports. How's it going this evening? Post game is good to see you as well this evening. How's it going?
Man, Moss, it's always good to rock with you on this here platform, man. I'm happy that you got me on here. It's always a great time. We always have fireworks when we on the stream together. So I appreciate you having me, bro. How you doing today?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm blessed, thankful, man. And you said it, man. When we connected through, email and chopping it up, man, it was like a big brother, and that's just how it feels. Even though you a few ages, a few years younger, you still a big bro to me. Nonetheless, we got a slew of topics today, but the most important one, man, happy Women's Month again, on this great Wednesday evening to all the women out there in the sports world, just women in general. Whether you're a young mother, grandmother, mama, it don't matter what you do. We appreciate you. Anything you got to say on that post game before we get started?
No, shout out to the ladies, man. I definitely appreciate the women in my life, how they contributed to my growth and my development and held me down, in tough times. So shout out to all the ladies across the world for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Definitely. And we coming in this Wednesday, and I decided to switch it up, step away a little bit, but dabble into something that I felt was interesting, and that is what if Wednesday. We in the sports world. There's a lot of things when we sit back and we think about sports, things that could have been, if things would have went this way. And the one thing that you know sat on my mind so long when I thought about this Wednesday was what if Carmelo Anthony went to the Detroit Pistons post game? What if Carmelo Anthony went to the Detroit Pistons? And before we get into this, man, shout out to Carmelo, Hall of Famer. I mean, when you say get a bucket, he's going to get you not just a bucket, he's going to get you quite a few of those buckets. And the game that he have when he sit at that box and not even dribble the basketball, the footwork is impeccable. I mean, there's so many things when you think of Carmelo Anthony, but you always think about what if he would have been in Motown with that squad and the possibilities of the dynasty that was already going down in Detroit. What's your thoughts to the added scoring, that echelon of Carmelo Anthony in Detroit post game? Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, that's a great question, my man. And if you're watching the stream, go ahead and hit that like button for some hungry man. You
Yes,
dig? It's
sir.
free. It's only gonna help us out. We appreciate y'all. But if Carmelo Anthony would have got drafted by the Detroit Pistons, first of all, he should have been drafted by the Detroit Pistons. I felt like it was collusion. I felt like the NBA didn't want Carmelo to go to an established team like the Detroit Pistons. I mean, you think about Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups. If you would have added a Carmelo Anthony to that team, they would have went on a run. They would have won multiple championships, in my opinion.
Yeah,
There's no way. There's no way, bro. You add. Think about Carmelo's freshman or rookie year.
yeah,
Carmelo, in my opinion, should have been NBA Rookie of the Year, or at least tied it with LeBron James.
yes, sir.
I felt like politics got in the way of Carmelo Anthony's career, especially his rookie year. He should have been drafted by Detroit. They take Darko Milicic. Did he even score a basket in his career? they
Man, I,
take Darko. they
man,
they take Darko with Carmelo Anthony still on the board, a freshman national champion. So I thought it was messed up. I remember back in the day going back to school after that summer and chopping it up with the homies and
yeah,
talking about the draft. But there's no way Detroit should have passed on Melo. That would have been awesome. They would have won. And I think it was because he would have got in the way of their golden child, which was LeBron James.
Man, it's so crazy to me because that was my guy. Like when you say tuning in for Syracuse basketball, when it started, when that ESPN tip off with him and LeBron James. I always wanted to go with the person that, people really didn't speak too highly on, the favorite, in other words. We at that time LeBron was the favorite. And people really didn't know the bond that him and Carmelo had. They had a great relationship. They was brothers, and they're just doing their 1-2, loving the game, which prevailed not just their lives, their families, and so many people, so many things that they wanted to do, they was able to do and still do to this day. I think that, for me, I love Carmelo. Just watching how he played the ball, his smile, and doing things in Syracuse. And if you watch that run to this day, that's still my moment. If you go back and see that one shiny moment of that Syracuse run, it was crazy, and I love it, man. Shout out to One Take Zay in the building this evening tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in. He said, "What up, my brothers? Moss looking fresh with the clean button up and fresh cut. Yes, sir, brother. One take, I had to switch it up, man. The fro was not froing. When you doing things and you seeing on public eyes, you got to make that change, and it was much needed. But for me, I've always liked Carmelo, and I thought it was crazy. When I seen him not get drafted, I stopped watching the draft. I literally seen that he got picked, from word of mouth, me not actually sitting inside the house watching the draft. I stepped outside. I was upset. And it was so many things that could have happened. Like you said, the dynasty could have been built. And, it's crazy because when we talking about Melo, you can't not talk about LeBron, which, leans and guides me to the next one. But before I do, just showing that respect to Melo. Just imagine a championship at Syracuse, at that freshman coming into the NBA rookie, getting you another one. As we would have known, the Pistons would have been in the tops to win it. So, it's just crazy that we could still sit here and talk about this 20 odd years later at a what if, possibly one of the biggest what ifs in the history, of sports. And when we talk about Carmelo, like I said, we got to go to the king and respect his throne. And WTP Sports dudes, he wanted to know, what if LeBron went to college? And we know this is his GOAT. Man, it's so many things to say, because when I seen him, watching him from them seats in the state run we made, I seen Kobe first sight. What's your thoughts if LeBron would have went to college post game? What's your thoughts on this one? This is a tough. This is a GOAT.
Yeah, this is a really good one. But first, before we get into that, brother, we got to get a round of applause for your fresh fade, man.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
My man, fresh. But if LeBron would have went to college, I believe he would have went to Ohio State. Correct?
Yeah, that's what they say. He wanted to be a Buckeye. We know that's his hometown. And then, not to cut you off, man. Shout out to my barber, TJ Madison, man. He the one that got the fro cut. Man, I've been knowing him since middle school, man. You'll be definitely seeing him soon enough, putting the show together of cut up and live talks with Moss and Madison coming soon as well. But yeah, I don't mean to take it away from you. But yeah, Ohio State was the talk for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just based on the data that I have currently, I believe he would have wowed. I believe he would have did some incredible athletic things in
Yes.
college. But I don't. I mean, just going off the evidence, he probably would have choked in the NCAA tournament.
Man, it's something you say that. Go ahead, go ahead. I don't mean to cut. Go ahead.
No, you good, bro. I was just gonna say, like, just based on the evidence, people gotta remember LeBron really had to leave Cleveland and go to Miami and learn from Wade, Pat Riley, and those guys how to actually win. He was born with a lot of athletic gifts, but he wasn't born with that will to win. he had to figure it out, in which I don't knock him for that. A lot of players got to figure it out in the NBA. That's the upper echelon of your profession. You got
Yeah.
to figure it out. Nobody just comes in right away and wins championships, not even Michael Jordan. So I don't knock him for that, but he probably would have they probably would have been a top 3 or 4 seed and would have went home on the first or second day.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, we appreciate you tuning in, Tim. That's my man's the barber. He's tuning in. We definitely appreciate you tuning in this evening, Brody. I appreciate the cut. Everybody liking it. They sending the shout outs to the Funky Fresh Fade. And then just greatly, again, appreciate it. And we also have one take. He said, post game, you on to something. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. One take. And for me, it was if LeBron went to Ohio State, you talking about a phenom on a college level. LeBron in an Ohio State uniform, coming from Akron, and it would have been, you know, something to see. For me, that's like not getting something right out of your backyard, but close enough. You talking Mr. Basketball, you talking about bigger than anything when we're just now starting to see that. Mr. Basketball, Mr. Royal suiting up down at OSU. I can't remember the few before then, but that's the one that I like. That's suiting up now currently over at OSU. Can't wait to see what he doing this coming year for his junior year as well. But just seeing Syracuse, Ohio State, you LeBron and Melo match up again because they played in high school. Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary versus Oak Hill. I think you would have seen another big ESPN primetime, Dickie V, the whole gang. And like I said, a phenom at the college level. LeBron, I think, as we know what he is now in the NBA, leaving straight out of high school, you would have caught a kid going to groom himself for 1 year for the floodgate of everything to open. And we know the contract he signed with Nike right off the back, who knows what it could have been going and playing 1 year at Ohio State even after that. But I think it would have been special going into that draft. You would have had the Orlando Magic with that top lottery pick, not the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he would have been able to come back home. He would have graced us 1 year being at Ohio State and then leaving and possibly going elsewhere across the world to Orlando or something like that. So it's something when I thought about that what if, I was like, man, I think that's a what if I'm glad I didn't see, because the city of Ohio, the state of Ohio, the city here in Columbus going crazy. You know, LeBron is the GOAT over MJ, over Kobe. I mean, it started so much talk here in the city to where if you wasn't a Bron fan, it was a problem almost. But I respect the king and respect what he's done for the game. My next big what if, not to get off Brown, but we got, quite a few topics to talk about and some what ifs to tap into. I think this is, I think the Carmelo Anthony is man, I think that is going to go down in history along with this one. What if the GOAT, MJ, went to Portland? What
Wow.
if MJ went to the Portland Trailblazers post?
My
Man,
goodness, man. You talk about changing history. Uh if MJ would have went to Portland, he would have been paired with Clyde Drexler. And y'all know how athletic Michael Jordan was, one of the best athletes of all time. You know how athletic Clyde Drexler was, one of the
yes.
best athletes of all time. So you got a 2 and a 3 that's just crazy, wicked athletic, highly skilled. They probably were rivals, but we're saying if they were playing together, he was drafted to Portland. I think Michael Jordan would have won faster, but he wouldn't have won as many.
Mm.
Because think about it. If he goes to Portland and not Chicago, he doesn't have Tex Winters, Phil Jackson. He doesn't have Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
They don't the Seattle SuperSonics drafted Pippen, but was traded to the Bulls. But that probably doesn't happen. Dennis Rodman probably doesn't happen. Tony Kukoc probably doesn't happen. So I believe Michael Jordan would have won probably faster. I believe, excuse me, his first championship was in year 7.
Yeah.
He probably would have got a championship in year 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Playing with Clyde Drexler in that team. Jerome
Man.
Kersey, was it?
Yes, sir.
Kersey, yeah. he would have won faster, but I don't think he leaves the game with as many NBA championships. Because, and think about this, back then, especially a guy like Michael Jordan, they weren't too keen on leaving teams to go play with other stars. They
Yes.
wanted to compete against other stars
Yes, sir.
and win and dominate other stars. So he would have won championships earlier in his career, but I don't think he would have left with 6.
And it's something that you say that they wanted to compete against the stars. And if Mike would have been on Portland, would that have caused an early exit from a superstar like himself or Drexler to where guess what? Now it's even deeper. Them coming together, but then separating and now wanting to bang out and battle against each other. That's like a all-star team coming together or all-star game forming. You playing with this same team for, a whole year, then you separate. Now you got to go at it against each other. That would have been special to watch. But my question would have been as well post game, and I thought hard about this one. Would there have been Jordan brand? Would there have been Nike in a way that Jordan is today? That was my biggest thought as well, because we know we talk about the GOAT, but I think, that Jordan brand is you can't take that away from where he stands as being GOAT status. So, that was my biggest thing. And like you said, playing with a player like Clyde Drexler would have been special, winning championships way before his time, like he did in Chicago. And
Can you
exactly,
imagine? Can you imagine the dunk highlights if Michael Jordan and Clyde Drexler played together? I
man,
mean, really, man,
special.
they would have been doing backflip dunks together.
Yeah, we were just hitting the double alley oop before we even thought about it. And I think that was really the one player, if you really think about back in the day, held his own. And even some games, people say dominated Mike was Clyde Drexler. He was fearless. I mean, that was one of my brother's favorite players, along with Cliff Robinson being the head honcho of his favorites in Portland. And it would have just been something special to see. My brother, we used to talk about it, way back in the day. I'm sure Unc and the guys would talk about it. So many conversations we talked about even growing up. So, that was something that I thought about. But again, man, shout out to the women. Not to get off subject, but we always on subject when we talking about the women because it's National Women's Month, and we not gonna forget about y'all as y'all gearing up for the Sweet 16. This has been awesome sauce, as you said last week post game on the ladies side of this tournament as well as the men's side, but we talking about the ladies again. And I was watching that game. Shout out to your girl Hannah Hidalgo and the greatness that she's showing us. And I've been enjoying this tournament. What's your thoughts on what you've seen so far in the NCAA Women's March Madness tournament as we approach the Sweet 16 this weekend?
I mean, well, uh, I'll start with Hannah Hidalgo. Um, I just gotta say this, bro. It's an absolute travesty that she is not up for Player of the Year. Whoever's voting on this are just boneheads. And that's no offense to the ladies, uh, Lauren Betts, Michaela Blake's, Sarah Strong, and AZ Fudd, they're well deserving of that and being finalists. But what Hannah Hidalgo is doing is unprecedented.
Huh?
She's averaging 25, 5, 5, 5, and 5. That hasn't been done since the year 2000, bro.
Yeah.
You remember the Y2K scare?
Yes, sir.
when everybody was going crazy, you got your parents filling up the freezer,
Right.
non-perishable canned goods,
Man,
buying lanterns for the lights.
people don't
All
realize how long them cans last, and some people still got them.
man, for real. But that hasn't been done since the year
Yeah.
2000, bro.
Yeah.
And at that, she lost her whole entire squad from last year.
I'm not sure.
I think it was only 2 or 3 scholarship players on the team before they got the portal players to come in and the walk-ons. But for her to not be a finalist for player of the year is just stupid. And this is the thing that pisses me off about the voters, because it's like you got something special happening in women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Ride that coattail. We haven't seen this in 26 years. Somebody went from a baby to an adult the last time we seen stats like this. Now, I know they struggled, especially in January. They're getting that chemistry down pat. You know, they needed time to gel, but they gelling.
Yeah.
And now they're in the Sweet 16, Moss, where
Yes,
they
sir.
were last year with a much more talented roster. So I just had to get that out the way. But what I've seen from March Madness on the women's side is just absolutely incredible. You got so many great players. And like I said on a stream Tuesday night, the WNBA is in great hands. I know they're expanding. They're getting the money up.
Yep.
The lady's gonna be able to run the bag up, which is a blessing and a beautiful thing. The future of the WNBA is so bright with these college basketball stars. And then just think about it. Juju Watkins didn't even play 1 second this year.
Yes, sir.
Imagine what her and Jazzy Davidson gonna do next year. It's gonna be box office. But I mean, we talked about Audie Crooks, her going out in the first round, man, with what she had, 35 points.
35.
It'll be
Big
interesting to see if she makes any moves, if she tries to go play with one of these elite guards. LSU is a team that looks hungry.
Yeah. Very hungry.
LSU looks hungry, bro. And when with their depth and their coach, Kim Mulkey, I'm not counting them out. I think they can make a run too, bro.
Yeah.
UConn's dominance. UConn is so dominant this year with AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. They're definitely worthy of all the awards and accolades they get this season. Texas with Madison Booker, another player who should have been up for Player of the Year. That girl is special, and I can't wait to see how her tournament run ends, because you can't count them out as well. So the ladies is popping, Moss. They doing their thing. I don't think I've been watching college basketball for a long time, bro. I don't think I've seen this level of talent as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many great players in women's college basketball. It's a beautiful thing to see, bro.
Yeah. I totally agree, man. And I'm with you and how you feel about Hannah Hidalgo, but I'm with my girl Maddie Buck, man. The performances she's put on, the coldest, and she's made the most field goals at the mid-range level in D1 basketball this season. Not just to mention that, man, like I say, she's came in from Germantown, connected with Vic, and they've done big things. This is the season. And, Vic being up for Coach of the Year, I think it's a great thing, and showing how good but great this young Texas team with that leadership has been doing since Booker's arrived on campus. I mean, elite scorer, She sits down, plays defense, rebounds the ball well. The 40.8 rebound, 5 assist performance. I mean, what else can you ask for? SEC Player of the Year, tournament MVP. I mean, she's put this Texas team on her back, in the way that people question the three ball. They're shooting the three ball. They're shooting the leather off that thing right now. And I think that's been the biggest thing. I would say for Texas and seeing how they are starting to hit these three balls, but the field goal percentage, not just at the 3 point, the field goal percentage is high. The way they know when to get Maddie the ball, the way she demands the ball, but she's a team player. And to see her not up for that award. But like you said, I mean, respect to all the women that's playing, all the coaches that's coaching, because we seeing some great women's basketball. And when you think, and for me, I've been having those 1993 vibes, watching that Final Four with Cheryl Swoop and her record-setting performance. These are the vibes that I've been getting watching women's basketball. And if you know what type of vibes those were when Cheryl Swoop was on that run with Texas Tech. That was just a magical season. You would just had to go back if you've never seen it and watch it. Clips of that March Madness, and I guarantee it'll make you a believer in the watching women's basketball if you haven't watched it this season. So, for me, I'm just applauded by everything that we've been able to see, everything that, like you say, Hannah Hidalgo's doing. That's not an easy feat, and not to mention her short height. She's getting after it, tenacious, relentless leadership. I mean, the smile, the fight. You see everything in her toughness. You name it. She's that, and I definitely agree. These are two players that should definitely be in that finals. And agree with you. No disrespect to the ladies that are there. I think they might have to extend that list to about 10. The way these ladies are playing respectively, as so on the men's side.
Let me say this. This how you know somebody's worked on their game. This how you know somebody's working on their craft, their condition.
Hmm.
Hannah's first 2 years, when this time of the year came, her game went down.
Yeah.
It's like she ran out of gas, got tired, didn't have the correct condition, and now, bro, she's playing like the Energizer Bunny.
Man.
So you can tell she definitely takes it serious and puts in the work, so she's not tiring out. Because when she's off the floor, and this is why I try to make the point of how valuable she is, right?
Hmm.
Notre Dame was up by, man, I want to say it was I want to say like 18 when she
In
fouled
that
out.
game.
She fouled out with like 40 seconds left. Hannah Hidalgo, right?
Hmm.
They were up by like 18. They ended up winning the game with 40 seconds left by 8 points.
That shows.
That's
And when
that's
you,
the that's the impact, bro.
yeah,
That's the impact.
10 points in 40 seconds. That's insane. That just goes to show, like you say, respectively, she deserved to be on that list. They got to extend that list from 4 to 10. Um, no disrespect against it, or like we say with the women that's on there. I just think the game is definitely changing. I look at it this year by the week in women's college basketball because you're seeing a different team elevate. And as we're seeing in the tournament right now, I had the Iowa ladies winning, and we see, how things went. Even though they was in a nail biter, we see what can happen in March Madness, even on the women's side. So, and shout out to the women in basketball and sports and what you're doing for us. You have us tuned in for sure, and all eyes on it. And as we've been talking about, what if Wednesday, is there, just any random what if that came across your mind that you would like to speak on? I just thought about those few, but I know it's quite a bit out there when we talking about what ifs in this here sports world.
Yeah, man, you can go so many different ways. I ask you this, Moss.
Yes, sir.
What if Shaq never left Penny?
Damn. What if Shaq never left Penny? It would have turned to dollars. No chump change. Millions. I think that would have been, I think we would have possibly been talking about Penny and Shaq more than we talk about the GOAT debate of Jordan and LeBron. That's how good, how great. I actually watched those years when they beat Jordan in that conference finals, the Eastern when they went to play against the Rockets, and when Jordan came back. Like you said about Hidalgo, that goes to show how much Jordan worked on his game, but how great that Orlando Magic team was, how great Shaq was. And you talking about to me, you talking about a 7-foot gazelle with Penny Hardaway, who quietly is kept, I would say, was how people talk about LeBron being this athletic Magic Johnson. I say Penny was the athletic Magic Johnson mixed with Jason Kidd, mixed with Pistol Pete, because he was doing a no look. He was doing behind the back passes. Penny
Yeah,
Hardaway was a different breed, but he would go to the bucket and he's unleashing a dunk. It don't care who's under there because
and
he's
he,
dunked on pretty much every big in the NBA.
yeah, they was dunking on 7-footers back then. And
Yeah,
it's crazy you mentioned that because I remember them comparing him to Magic back in the day.
yeah. Man, I had a guy, man. Shout out to Richard Harvey. I had the conversation with MossBurgh, his brother, E. Duke Sr. We called Richard Harvey Penny back in the day, and this was his guy. You couldn't tell him nothing about Penny that he didn't feel was true, but we knew. We had so many talks, and it was one we talked about. He reminded us of Jason Kidd, Magic Johnson. This is a 6'8", 6'9" point guard that could shoot, that could pass, but when he get to the cup, he dunks on you like. But he got a big man at 7 foot that he could just get a ball to. How people say, rest in peace to Cole. Penny was that dude. You can't say the mom, but didn't go watch that footage. So, you know, what if, man? Let me ask you this, because that's a great question, Post. What if Penny stayed healthy in the NBA?
If Penny stayed healthy in the NBA, he would have went down as one of the greatest point guards to ever live. Easily. He'd have been right up there with Magic, Steph, Isaiah, Stockton. Those he would have been. You couldn't mention the best point guards of all time without mentioning Penny. Listen, man, listen. I remember those days. I had his rookie card. I still got that same rookie card to this day. That was my favorite player to watch when he came into the league. And his shoes with the swirls on the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you should have seen how jealous they was of me.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
I definitely had a pair of those. But Penny Hardaway being a 6'7" point guard who can drive, who can dish, elite passing, can shoot the three, matchup nightmare. I love Penny Hardaway, bro. I think he would have been one of the elite point guards to ever play had he stayed healthy.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Penny Hardaway healthy. I mean, sky's the limit. One take Zay, he said them bums got swept. Respect to that comment, but with all due respect, they went up against the Dream, Robert Ory, Mario Ellie, Vernon Maxwell. Respect, and if you go see some of the stories he been telling on All the Smoke, you would not believe it. I didn't believe it until I heard it. But they had a squad, bro. And when you talking about a legitimate team to run into, a Penny and Shaq, you're talking about young. They ran into a Houston team. They had Clyde Drexler even too. You talking about a team that was like they took no shit from nobody. Excuse my language. They came in. They was physical. They wanted the best of the best. They three-peat. They had Kenny the Jet Smith, who's in so many talks right now about this North Carolina job that just opened. I think anything's possible. Will they keep it in the family or will they go outside the family? But as we talking about Penny, like you say, in history with greats like Magic Curry, Jason Kidd, Nash, as they talk about, so many more. Um, and I would have this question for you since you hit me with a good one. What if Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter would have stayed together in Toronto?
Why to see the reason why they didn't stay together is because Tracy wanted his own team. And you got to remember at that point in time, the NBA was pushing Vince Carter as the next Michael Jordan. Remember how nasty
Hmm.
Vince was for that
Yeah,
stint time? They were saying this was Jordan.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kobe didn't respect that, but
Hmm.
if they would have stayed together, I don't know if it would have worked, bro, because they like it's like egos. Like Tracy was up and coming, Vince was already dubbed as the next guy. I don't know if it worked, but if they would have found a way to make it work, it probably would have been fireworks. I don't know how many championships because Kobe is the perfect example. Like these guys were just as talented as Kobe, right?
Right.
The difference was the mentality, the heart, the will to win, the work ethic. That's what separated Kobe from his contemporaries in that era. When you talk about guys like T Mac and Vince, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, all those guys, really talented, just as talented as Kobe, but Kobe had something that was inside of him, not that was in him. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean? But I think it would have been box office. But I got a question for you, bro.
Yes, sir.
What if Kobe never got the Achilles injury? Because you gotta remember, how old was Kobe when when he won his fifth ring? Was he was was he 30 or 31?
Cole was, I think, don't get me the, he might have been 31.
He was young. He was
Yeah,
young. He
he
was
was
younger
young.
than Michael Jordan when he won his fifth ring.
He was young. And that was before the 60 ball, right?
Which 60? Which one?
That was before the 80 ball, right?
No, yeah, no.
Okay.
He had the Achilles after the 80 ball was still like the 80 ball was in '07, '06, '07.
So if Cole didn't get the Achilles, I'm gonna say this. Cole could have won another one. Maybe two. Rest in peace to the mom. But that was like when you talk about Cole, one take Zay. I still got him, bro. I still listen. When you talk Cole, this is my guy, man. This is my guy. I'm a big Mamba fan. So when you talk about Kobe, the Achilles, I think he would have still been able to play into his 40s. He would have been playing as we see LeBron right now. I think Kobe would have kept going until there was no end to basketball. Until the wife said, "You got to stop playing ball. Like it's over with. I need you at home." That's my feeling when it comes to Kobe because, like you said, the work ethic. When you hear stories, all people say was Kobe was in the gym. He'll call me. I tell him, "Yeah, let's do it." But Kobe is in the gym already before I even get there to meet. He's in the gym 2 hours before, full sweat. All these type of things, you know, his mindset, that's that Mamba mentality, man, and respect to what he did for the game. Cause, for me, it was like everybody say what they say, man. Jordan passed the torch to Kobe. Kobe was trying to pass the torch. Nobody accepted the torch. And that's why we trying to figure out who's gonna lead the game in graceful hands and this basketball not get out of hand. I think that's what we really, looking at if you really think about it. Back when Mike played, who was Mike battling against? Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, all those greats. They passed the torch. Mike took it and did wonders with it, made this game his. Kobe seen that. Kobe wanted to be that. And that new LA movie, if nobody's seen it, I can't think of the name. I've been seeing clips of the Dynasty. I forget the name exactly, but it had Kobe and a baby when he was a baby, and his mom was holding him when his pops was on the floor guarding. I forget whom in the garden. That was special to me. Like I didn't realize this things happen. So when we talk about Kobe, it's like for me, I'm trying to figure out who's going to give us this next grace of the game because I'm waiting on the farewell tour, which we might see in Cleveland. Word is bond is starting to come to light about the farewell tour. So,
So, bro, the NBA totally played Kobe Bryant because they didn't want him to get the 6 NBA championships. Kobe was 31 when he won his last ring
yeah,
in 2010. They now tell me why. Why would they prevent that trade for Chris Paul? Because had Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant got together at that time, bro, they was winning a championship or two.
for sure. For sure. So, man, it's respect to Bean, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. But want to switch over real quick because Bean is heavy when you talk basketball. Like I said, I'm just looking for that next man up to give us that same grace. It's quite a few that can not be what we know we talking about when it come to Kobe and Jordan. People talk about Bron X, but when it comes to these next few years, for me, I'm locked in on the women's game and the men's college basketball right now. The NBA, I just wait for playoff time. So who's gonna give us a reason to lock into this NBA on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, night in, night out? Sometimes we might miss a night respectfully because the work schedules, but outside of that, who's gonna give us that? And it's starting to surface, but we need those mentalities to get in the way like how Mamba was. He was different and he built something and we seen a lot of competition in this time. So man, anything you want to tap into as we still
Yeah,
continue?
yeah, bro. I just want to say this. When I was a young man, when I was I'm still a young man, but when I was a little kid, like I didn't miss Laker games. I didn't miss I didn't miss the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. I didn't miss the Kobe Lakers. I didn't miss a game. It's not the same, bro.
Man,
Like as much as I love Luca and a lot of these players, the NBA got some monsters. Can't front,
yeah,
but it's not the same. I still watch the NBA, but it's like back then they had something to where I couldn't miss it. Now it's like, okay, I'll watch a game, but if I miss it, I miss it.
yeah,
Back then I wasn't bro, and the Lakers came on late. Boys had school in the morning. I
yeah, yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
miss no Laker games, bro. It's just different.
Yeah, I totally agree. I remember many nights staying up for them late night games, falling asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing I got to take a shower at halftime, so I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and running out the door soaking wet, catching a cold or nothing. So, for me, I remember those times. I remember Jordan. I remember even when Kobe was in the league. I remember when Bron, them years when Bron and Steph, mixed in with KD when he wasn't playing with Golden State at the time, but when he came to Golden State, and now it's like I look for that matchup. Okay, Anthony Edwards versus KD, things like that. But it's like you said, it's not that excitement like it used to be. And I used to look for Bron on the road. That's one thing. Today I'm looking for Bron on the road in the playoffs, not Bron on the road throughout the season. Nothing against him, but it's the game is changing. So We got to get back to that competitive nature. Man, when we on the court, I ain't your boy. I'll holler at you after the game, though, bro. You know, that's just how it was with my brothers, my cousins. I might hit you with an elbow during the game, but after the game, we cool, we solid. It's just a competitive nature and what we come out here to do. And as one take say, he said it was more competitive. And he also said Shy is averaged 30 plus points in 4 straight seasons. 2 more years, 2 more chips. He one of the greatest ever. And the way it's looking, a lot of people are feeling that way. And shout out to your Lakers on, I believe, what's that, that 9 game win streak. Luca going crazy. Bron in his bag, looking like he about 25, 26 again. And they just playing good
No,
basketball
they
right
they
now.
they actually they actually had their winning streak snapped though.
Did they lose it? It was, I bet, what's today?
It
Wednesday. They
was
lost it Monday or Tuesday.
it was Detroit without Cade. They lost to
Mm,
Detroit without Cade, bro. But they
Monday night.
listen right now. They caramelizing the Pacers.
Boom. And I got it. I picked that win on my 2K board as well. He said, "Yep, snapped at Detroit." And shout out to Kay Cunningham on that recovery, man. Speedy recovery is definitely prayers from here on this board, man. Anybody with one of those injuries as well, especially Juju, Women's Month, any other woman out there, you know, recovering from an injury throughout this season, any sports, just in general. So we definitely see you and we appreciate you as well. Um,
Let me say one take absolutely right about Shay in the chat. Shay doing his thing, but let me ask you a question, man. Like when it comes to the NBA, right?
yes, sir.
Who's your favorite to win league MVP? You got Luca, you got Wimby, you got Shea. Who do you think is the league MVP thus far?
Man, you know it was my boy. You know, I was big heavy on Cade, and I still was. You know, until the injury, I knew how things would go with the injury. So now, I man, every time I watch Wimby, man, he does something different. Every highlight he's doing something different, man. And I'm like, how are you 7'4", 7'5", and able to do what you do? Like, I might have to go Wimby. I I, I think I would have to go Wemby. Be the reason why is because it don't matter if you taking a ball out from the other end when the Spurs on defense. First thing they do is look where Wemby at when they turn around with that ball. I don't care if you shy. You looking for Wemby. He's that much of an effect on the defensive side, but then offensively, 7'4" freak of nature. He could bring the ball up court. He could find the open man, but his takeoff is from the free throw and beyond. You might as well say his takeoff is like a mid-range jump shot, which is crazy. And he's 7'5". I just go back to years ago when I seen Wemby. I was seeing clips of him. I can't remember which social media I shared it on. I said, this is something crazy. Never seen nothing like that. And to actually see him now today, what he is doing in the NBA, I think I'm loving it. And I'm not talking about Mickey D's, but I love the coffee. Shout out. Don't sue me. But it's special. I gotta go Wemby. I gotta go Wemby. It's right there with Luca because for Luca to have the king on his team and for him to be doing what he's doing as well. I'm not going to negate that. I'm not going to negate Shy. I'm not going to negate what Anthony Edwards, who's quietly, slowly creeping up this MVP list, and you got to watch them for these last week and a half. So I'm gonna go Wemby right now, but I think the Lakers need to push up and get that either 2 or 1 seed for Luca to for sure get it.
Lakers not gonna catch. Lakers ain't gonna catch the Spurs. They like 11 games back, bro.
I
They
know.
like,
I'm messing with Zay on that one.
I mean, I can't. Man, it's hard to argue against any of those guys. Shea, Luca, Wimby. you can give it to any one of those guys. If Cade was still playing, he'd definitely be up there.
Yeah,
I Man, listen, I told y'all before the season started, sprinkle a couple of dollars on Luka Doncic and the MVP award. Now I don't know if Luka gonna get it. I know the Lakers been scorching, blazing, piping hot lately,
yeah,
but I mean, I don't. I'll be happy with any of those guys winning the MVP. But if I had to pick one, I'm still gonna ride with SGA.
yeah. I agree. And Zay, he said one take. He said Joker averaging a triple double again. Luca leading the league in scoring. Wemby played both ways, and Shea is ultimate consistency. I mean, I can't knock it. One take, I can't knock it. But one take. Have you ever seen somebody like Wemby, man, doing what he's doing? I don't think you ever in your lifetime seen a 7'5" doing this type of work, Zay. Shooting, dunking. I mean, top of the backboard blocks. I mean, chasing you down for a block from one end of the court to the other. Like for me, watching Wemby, I don't know. Like Wemby versus Shaq is what I would love to see. Shaq from back in the day running up the. I would love to see that Shaq from back in the day in Orlando, the young Shaq versus this young Wemby post.
I want
What's
to
your
see.
thoughts on that?
I would rather see the Lakers Shaq against Wemby because he would have broke him in half, bro.
Ooh, would he have dunked him in the rim?
Yeah, they would have been picking up body parts.
Man, that Shaq was ferocious, man. You talking about a chiseled. That's when they was calling him Diesel. That's when he had the Superman joints. Like, man, that's he was still running up and down the court like that. That would have been classic, definitely. And Zay said one take, he said he said one of one, but he ain't there just yet. I can't agree. For me, um, we always have our opinions. I just would want to see him throw on maybe 10 or 20 pounds of muscle. Like what would he do to people then? That would be like a 7'5" Giannis, like, the way he handled the ball and things like that. Like it would be crazy to see him with 10 to 20 more pounds of straight muscle. Like his arms is already long. Only imagine what they would do with muscle on them. Like, but when it comes to remaining topics on a Wednesday, the one thing that I did do when it come to March Madness, we seen some great performances. We seen 40 ball from Maddie. We seen Cambridge with a 40 ball and a losing effort against a great Hedena Hidalgo and Notre Dame team. I mean, we just been seeing special performances. UConn, South Carolina's performances. And if you ain't know about Joyce, I bet y'all know about Joyce Edwards now. She's special, impeccable with just the footwork, man. Like I told you, it's a different like we know what Asia Wilson was doing there as far as in at that position down low, but it's like you getting a little bit of everything. She's able to, step out on the perimeter, handle that ball as well as bring you down low and, put you in a blender. So it's just special to see that the passing of the torch is in good hands in women's basketball. That's the best way. I would love to break that down. And shout out to the ladies over the years. I'm going to run off a list. Lori Bowman, 50-point performance, March Madness, Cheryl Swoops, Jane Appel, Sarah Ashley Barker, Kelsey Mitchell, Candace Wiggins, Barbara Kennedy, Marissa Coleman, Elizabeth Kitley, Caitlin Clark, and she busted that. We know what she was doing quite a few times on that. Jackie Stiles, Kiki, Erfin, and Morgan Williams, and what she did, Mississippi State. So added on to that list now, we have Jelani Cambridge as well as Madison Booker, man. We appreciate all you ladies when it comes to this March Madness tournament and just, this season in general, the shows you've been able to put on. not for just the fans, but being a student athlete and performing for your family, for your moms. It is Women's Month, and it's, another way I'm sure you're thinking about them and showing them respect as well on that court. So we appreciate everything that you do when it comes to the sports, because you definitely give us some things to talk about, cheer about, and we keep you talked about within our chat as well. One
Moss, let me
take,
ask you this.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go
Nah,
ahead.
you're good. You go ahead. We come right back to it. We see one take in the chat. We got you coming.
Do you know where Caitlin Clark was committed to before she flipped to Iowa?
I honestly can't remember where she was committed to, because the crazy thing, I didn't start watching her until that sophomore year, like halfway through, like the end of the freshman, that sophomore year is when I really started locking into her and watching her.
Yeah, that would be Notre Dame, bro.
Wow.
Caitlin Clark was verbally committed to Notre Dame, and she flipped on signing day to
Wow.
Iowa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Imagine how I was feeling.
man, that's crazy, because like it's something that you mentioned that, because I had came across in the South Carolina USC game that's coming up. Juju was her school she was down to. She chose to be, of course, home Southern Cal, and it's like a normal thing. They in that same situation, I think, with a Sanaya Howard. I can't remember another top recruits trying to determine on her pick as well. But it's something, man, and that would have been special. What if Caitlin Clark would have signed with Notre Dame?
Hey, bro, who you got in that South Carolina Oklahoma match? Because I can't wait to see Reagan Beers and Joyce Edwards face off again.
I'm going South. I'm going South Carolina. I think this is going to be one. Like Chavez showed her, she went crazy. Beers had a game. In fact, I think when they played that game at Oklahoma, Beers was like a clutch bucket down the stretch in that OT. I think it went to OT, I can't remember. Um, I'm going South Carolina. Nothing against Beers and Chavez, but I like this Joyce Edwards. I like a athlete. I like the wing. She athletic. She got a little mid range, and if you notice, she get that ball. She see the defense. So next season she gonna be squaring up with no dribbles, Carmelo Anthony style work. I'm gonna call that before it happened, and that could be something special. Man, I'm just already anticipating next season's matchups as well. That's how good women's basketball has been. But I'm going South Carolina. I like Joyce Edwards. South Carolina, I can't take Don Staley away from what she's doing in March, you know, and I'm sure they remember that loss that they took earlier in the season. So they come in with something hanging over their head and a little steam as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a matchup I'm looking forward to seeing, bro. We got some really good ones.
Yes, sir. Speaking on that matchup, what's your thoughts on the Notre Dame matchup, Sweet 16? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great matchup. You got two of the top three scorers in the country, and Hidalgo and Blake's going at it. Really looking forward to seeing this game. I want to see if Notre Dame's defense continues to show up and they can hold Vanderbilt to under their season average of scoring. That's going to be key. Cassandra Prosper, she'll be drafted when she enters the WNBA draft. She's a 6'3" forward who plays 1 through 5.
Yes,
One
sir.
through five, Moss. She guards all 5 positions. You seen her on Jelani Cambridge, and then you seen her guarding a center. So really versatile young lady, man. Shout out to Cassandra Prosper. But I think Michaela Blake's is a scoring machine. She can play some defense too. So I mean, what else do you want? It's like the best players in women's college basketball we get to see go at it.
Yeah.
And if Notre Dame continues to play defense at the level they're playing defense at, spearheaded by Hannah Hidalgo, Grand Theft Hidalgo, I think Notre Dame could be successful. I think they can move on to the Elite Eight, but it starts
Mhm.
with their defense. They got to continue to play defense. Uh, Big Coles, our starting center, she can't get into foul trouble. We need that low post presence. We need that presence down low. If she can stay out of foul trouble and stay on the floor and keep contributing against the bigs of Vanderbilt, I really like Notre Dame's chances.
I agree. I think, for me, it's crazy because the jersey, men's and women's, you, I don't know if I want to call them point gods of this basketball world, but you got to respect it because you're talking about a jersey matchup once again, in a big moment. In this time, we talking about the women. We're not talking about the men when we talk about jersey guards, and this is the point guard. So, will Hannah get her on that? She's already gotten her at the high school level. Will she get her at the college level? And we know we're gonna see them at the WNBA level as well. So, I think this is just a matchup that we gonna see for years to come. I think it's special, for them both to be headlined in this matchup. And just thinking about where it started from, you know, just a basketball girl, picking up a basketball and not knowing that the dreams would take them this far. So I'm sure they probably text each other already earlier in the week saying good luck and those type of things. But I got Notre Dame winning. Hannah Hidalgo and one take Zay, he called her Grand Theft Hidalgo. I love it. Need more of it. Also, real quick, we at 1 hour. Oh, we over hour and 1 minute. Got one take. He said, "What y'all think about Acuff becoming the first college basketball player with his own shoe?"
I think that's absolutely dope. I didn't even hear that yet. Darius
Yes,
A.
sir.
Cup got his own shoe.
Yeah.
That's absolutely dope. That's fire. I'm happy for Darius A. Cuff. He balling out of control. I love his game. When we get off here, I'm gonna check out his shoe. But unfortunately for Mr. A. Cuff, man, he going home. A Cuff, A Cuff going home against Zona, bruh.
Man, and this is definitely special. And like you said, dope. And we ain't even selling it, but this dope to get that shoe deal, man. Especially for a young brother, at the college level. You talking about a freshman just coming in to do what he do when you speak on playing a game that he loves. That's basketball. And when you get the comparisons to AI, you don't got no choice but for Reebok to come holla at you. Shout out to Reebok for getting that man. And you wanted to get him once you started hearing them AI comparisons. Hook 'em, WTP. We see you in the building. Shout out to your Texas Longhorns. Shout out to Dalen Swain as well, and a big man in Texas. We need you to stay out of foul trouble because MossBurgh is with you for this run and this Cinderella that everybody say you're 11 seed. But I like the Cinderella run from you, Texas, because you was the first four out, you in, and you win it to win it. Dalen Swain, keep doing what you doing, young fella. I'm telling you, my nephew is looking down on you, bro. I'm loving this, man. You be bringing me to tears thinking about it. When I be watching y'all, man, I just love what y'all doing in Texas, man. Keep it going, man. Definitely, man. Anything you got to say to the people post game before we wrap it up and get out of here for this evening and bring them a banger tomorrow. We ain't gonna let them know what's cooking in the pot because I know you keep it on lock, but you open it up once you drop that thought.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on, bro. It's always a great time when we get together. Appreciate everybody in the crew. Shout out to the whole crew. One Take Zay, Rob, WTP Sports Dudes, Parlay Poe, T1, SEC Shine, the whole crew. Shout out to everybody. Check us out tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. We're going to play Respect It or Check It. You don't want to miss this one. It's going to be fire. You got to tune in.
Ooh, respect it or check it. Ooh, make sure. I'm telling you, I think I was working on the last one. I might have been able to tap in or tune in. I missed it. Respect or the check it is fire. All I'm gonna tell y'all to do is make sure y'all tune in. And when y'all tune in, y'all can tap in the comments. We have no problem. And if you'd like to join the show, WTPSportsDude.com. You could definitely tap in with my uncle at WTP for life. He'll be you can reach out to him, so we can get things situated to bring you on the show as well if that's something you would like to do. Outside of that, man, MossBurgh could definitely be coming with some great conversations. I just wanted to hit y'all with something different this week, but definitely send the shout out to the ladies and respecting what they doing and giving us that great content as March Madness continues to do great things for us and what our eyes are seeing. And make sure you get back to March Madness kicking off tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. It's a weekend of college basketball on the men's and women's side. So make sure you tune into that. Other than that, I would just say notifications on. Make sure you like and subscribe. You see all the channels at the bottom. Everything that's out there this week. KT's Good Eats. I'm taking it off. I'm off and I'm chilling. We back at it the following week though. So just stay tuned in. Level Up Sports 10. You see post game. This is what we do. We love when we hear. I don't know what else to say to the people post game except what we do best, man. You want to hit them with that outro this evening?
Hey, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.